Good morning, friends. Michelle here from Halfway Homestead, mid-Missouri. I don't know what zone it is. We are in the garden this morning, and I did a July garden tour. I'm going to move over here. The sun is in my face. We did a July garden tour, and halfway through the tour, I realized I was having some technical difficulties. I thought I fixed it. I went ahead and redid the tour, and I had not fixed it. So I scrapped the July tour and thought, just wait till August. And here we are. It is August. Oh, today is, I think the 16th. And we've had some rain this week. We've had some storms, some mild storms, nothing big. And I thought I would show you the August garden. Now, I will warn you, guys, this is real life. It is a mess. Big changes if you saw my June garden tour. And I've actually planted some things. And have plans on planting a little bit more. So let me turn the camera and we will just get right into the tour. I'll show you what has changed and what looks good and what doesn't. And we'll go from there. Okay, so the first thing, let me get the camera. Oops. Okay, the first thing I want to show you is this bed. I had planted another round of beans, and I don't remember if they were dragon tongue beans or black turtle beans. They got up to about 8 inches and then never did anything else. And they were like that for several weeks. So I pulled them out and I planted broccoli. This is purple broccoli. And it's doing pretty good. I planted it about a week ago. I have some kale in here, and then my celery that really needs to just be chopped down, and some dill that I'm allowing to go to seed. So going on down where that tool is, I have some garlic corums planted right there from Elephant Garlic. Going up the trellis, I have loofahs that are dying back. I have scarlet runner beans, and I have snail vine. Oops, turn the camera. Okay, so the loofahs, and there's probably spider webs in here, the loofahs have still been blooming, although I don't see any right this minute. And they have such a beautiful yellow bloom, and I can't imagine that they would put on any more loofahs this season. But look at this. My goodness, well, I don't know if you can see that. Here's one. Here's some hanging behind me. I am so excited about these loofahs because I want to make my own dish scrubbies, and I may use them for, I've never tried making soap, but I would like to try making soap. A friend bought me some soap that had been poured around a chunk of loofah. So you've got the suds of the soap, but then you've got the exfoliating factor of the loofah. And I love that. So I would like to try to make that. The scarlet runner beans, I don't know if you can see, they're still blooming. They have these beautiful red blooms, and there has not been not one bean come off of those. And they're supposed to be a bean you can eat. So I probably will not plant them again unless I need a space filler and want something to bloom. The snail vine, I've kind of lost track. That might be a piece of it right. No, I think that's the bean. The snail vine I've lost track of. It's on both sides. It has not bloomed yet. I was really hoping for at least a couple blooms this first year so that I could save seeds. And it is such a beautiful flower. I did go ahead and buy a packet of seeds for next year because they sell out fast. And I don't know, maybe next year I'll plant it earlier. I thought I planted it soon enough this year to get blooms, but I guess not. But oh my gosh, they're so beautiful and they smell so good. And I'm gonna bring you a little closer. I want to show you, I have a pumpkin. So this is a sugar pie pumpkin, and there are several more coming on. I don't know that any of those will be big enough to actually ripen and be able to be used, but we've still got quite a bit of time left. Like I said, this is August, I think 16th, and our first frost date, average first frost date, comes in October. Okay, this bed, I'm going to bring you down a little closer so you can see. Uh-oh, come back. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, there we go. I did some, I think this bed has cauliflower in it. I did cover the plants just because I've also got some beans in here. So these two beds, one was black turtle beans and one was dragon tongue beans. I don't know which was which. These are finally starting to look good. Planted them at the same time. They've just really struggled, and I don't know why. But I also have these pumpkins that are sprawling out into the bed. And so I covered these cauliflower plants just to keep the pumpkins from knocking them over. When they get big enough, I'll take the little covers off. But I just use little trash cans that I get at Dollar Tree, and those work really well. Okay, so is asparagus and flowers. And so the asparagus in there is brand new this year, and you know it's going to be at least 2 to 3 years before we can harvest it. And I didn't want just an empty bed, although you can see a lot of the asparagus ferns have come up. And so I thought I would just, fill it in with flowers. So that's going to stay the way it is for now. I'm going to come around to this other side. These pink zinnias have just exploded in here, and they are so beautiful. So beautiful. The nasturtiums down there. Nasturtiums are an edible flower. You can eat the leaves, you can eat the flowers. I don't like them, so I don't. But I do think they're pretty, and they are good for pollinators and supposed to be good for deterring pests. This flower bed, its sole purpose this year was to be a flower bed, and it has done extremely well. You can see the stalk there in the middle. That was a Mexican sunflower that blew over in a storm. This is the bed I'm going to plant in. So I love these candy cane zinnias. I think other than those pink, these might be some of my favorites. I am going to clean out this bed. The white zinnias are not my favorite, and they they filled the space, and that's what I wanted it to do, and I'm happy about that. But one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean most of this out, and I'm going to plant this bed with carrots and beets. And those are both good fall crops. They're good for, they can take a light frost. And so I'm hoping, carrots I think take about 65 days to mature. Beets I think are around, I think 45 to 50 days. So I believe I have enough time to get beets and carrots before, a hard frost. So I'm going to try it. We'll see. I don't know if I'll get to it today, but we will see. So then I'm going to turn you to see these other beds. This one here with I've got more little trash cans. This is just a regular green broccoli. I don't remember the variety name. And they're doing pretty good. They were a little bit spindly when I put them in here, but they're perking up, looking good. Again, I put the covers in because I've got watermelon and cantaloupe on the trellis that are kind of coming out into the bed, and I don't want them to get knocked over. Now, I will say the cantaloupe and watermelon are looking rough, and I may pull those pretty soon and put in a round of sugar snap peas. I have some trellises, little bitty trellises here on the side. That was just because I pulled them out of someplace else in the garden. I needed to stick them somewhere so they didn't get run over with the lawnmower. Excuse me. And they're just storing right there for now. I do have, I think, one more little watermelon. So far, they've not been great. I've been waiting for their little tendrils to completely dry up and turn brown before I remove them from the plant. And they just don't feel like they're ripe enough. So, okay, probably won't plant them again. The cantaloupe, bring you down here closer, is ripening. Here's one that's probably ready to go in. You wait until the cantaloupe detaches itself from the plant, and then they're ready to eat. This one has a little crack in it. Some others down here at the bottom are turning, but I did bring one in the house the other day that had fallen off of the, well, it didn't fall off. It kind of did. It was yellow like that. It had a big crack in it, and bugs were getting in there. And so I just touched it to kind of examine it, and it came off the plant. And so I did take it inside. I washed the whole thing. I did cut it open, cut off the cracky part, and it was okay. It wasn't anything fabulous. I'll probably eat it, but yeah, I don't know if I'll plant these again either. I like these watermelon and cantaloupe, or at least the idea of these, because they're little babies and it's like one serving. But I think next year, if I grow melons again, I'm going to go with a bigger variety, and I don't know, see if we do any better with that. I like having them on the trellis because it gets them up off the ground. And I just made these little hanger. Oops, sorry about that. Get you turned around. I made these little hangers with macrame thread. I've got a purple one. I've got purple and pink and white, and they really help support the melons. Now on the other side of this trellis, it is just going crazy with miniature pumpkins and miniature gourds. I don't know if any of these are going to ripen quickly enough for me to use this year. I planted them kind of late, but right here we have a tiny little gourd, and there's lots and lots of little bitty ones on the plant. I just don't know if they're going to have enough time to mature before I want to use them for fall. My goal is to, and this has been my goal every year, and I have yet to reach this goal, is I teach first grade. For those of you that don't know, I do teach first grade in our local elementary school, and I would love to be able to give each one of my students a little pumpkin or a little gourd from my garden, and maybe one of these days. Just hasn't happened yet. This other bed, I'm going to bring you down a little further so you can see it. Again, I've got some trash can. No, I don't have trash cans in this one. I do have a zucchini. I think this one is it's not zucchini, well, it's a kind of squash. It's a yellow patty pan, and, or it might be a white patty pan, I can't remember. But it has yet to produce any. Oh, wait, there's a tiny baby. Oh, let me bring you in closer and show you. Okay, I found it. Okay, right here, do you see it? So, yay, we do have a patty pan. That's the first one. All right, this bed I've got, whoops, at the trees. Okay, in this bed with the patty pan, I have some cauliflower and, let's see, some more kale and Brussels sprouts. I've never grown Brussels sprouts before. I don't eat Brussels sprouts, but people in my family do, and so I thought I would grow them for them. The cucumbers here at the end are finished. I've got one here at the bottom. I'm just waiting to ripen, which I'm going to take in the house today, let it ripen inside because I want to save the seeds. Now, that particular cucumber, I do not know if it is an heirloom cucumber, if I can even save the seeds. I don't know, but I'm going to try it and find out. I probably could Google it, and I do know the variety. It's called Lisboa. I probably could Google that and find out if it's heirloom or not. All right, I'm gonna turn the camera. Here we've got the grow bags and containers with sweet potatoes, and then there at the very end, right there, I've got ginger. I don't have any idea when to pick that. Here is another patty pan. Let's see if we have any babies in here. I am not seeing any, but that's okay. There's still time. I do see squash bug eggs, so I'll get in there and get the squash bug eggs. I brought out my diatomaceous earth with me. I need to check the forecast to see when we are going to have more rain, because the diatomaceous earth, it is organic, and it's good for hard-shelled bugs like squash bugs. But if it gets wet, it dissolves. And so right now, there's dew on the ground, there's dew on the plants. It's about 8:30 in the morning, and we've had some rain recently. So I need to check the forecast and find when I'm going to have some dry days and put my diatomaceous earth back on. Behind this patty pan is an ugly, ugly mess. Not the sweet potatoes, but right here. Those are my ground cherries. They have absolutely petered out, and that's okay. I'm going to get in there, pull up my little trellis pieces, pull up my plant markers, and probably just let my husband go through there with the mower. Next to that was the green beans, and there still are green beans here. Let's see. Okay, these are the green beans. This is a Jade is the variety. It's still, these plants, there's probably about 12 to 15 plants here that I left in the garden for the sake of going to seed. So some of them are still producing, and that's okay. Some of them are getting fat with seeds or with beans, and that's what I want. Those over there are still blooming. That's what I want them to do, is fill up with beans and dry up and go to seed. This in the middle was, in the beginning of the season, was my brassicas, and then I had artichokes, and calendula. The artichokes and the calendula both absolutely covered up with aphids. And I have never experienced aphids in the past. So I feel like the aphids really just took out the calendula. They completely died. I did get to pick a few flowers for drying, and then I'll use them later to make some skincare products. The artichokes, really, they were just in the way, and they were covered with aphids. So this patch, after I pulled out the brassicas, I did plant some beans. I planted purple TP beans, red swan beans, and a little bit more of the Jade green beans. Horrible, horrible germination, but we were having extremely hot days, and I don't know if it was a combination of hot days and not enough rain, or not enough watering on my part, or old seeds. I don't know, but it got pretty much up to my waist in grass and weeds, and I sent my husband through there with the brush hog, and I will show you that right now. just like that, the middle is mowed. Thank you, Scott. After he went through with the brush hog, it made it look so much better. It's still not perfect, but it is better. And then here we have our pepper row, which the peppers are doing amazing. There's some of that pigweed. I don't like that stuff. It's got thorns on it. So I had a pepper here that just never thrived. So I pulled it out. Lots of baby bell peppers in here. I'll bring you in closer in just a second. This plant, it did get blown over and broke off at the base, so I've just left it. I need to pull it out and just give those peppers to the chickens, because the ones that are now exposed to the sun are getting sunburnt, and those won't be very good to eat. Let me turn the camera and I'll show you. Okay, so here's the baby bells. And you can see down in there, there's some, this plant has orange baby bells. This one was a purple, and you can see where they're getting sunspots. So that needs to come out. I did put basil between my plants. I don't enjoy eating the purple basil, although I do love how it smells. More orange baby bells. This one, let's see. This one is a red. Oh, here we go. There's some reds in there. It has not been as heavy of a producer as the purple and the orange. Here's another one that got blown over by the storm and broke off. And so we're just letting it compost. Here you go. There's some of those purple beans that never did anything. Next up, I've got nadapenos. And so it is a jalapeno that is not hot. So nadapeño. And let's see. They are heavy producers. Can't talk. This is a good size one. Some of these are pretty little, so I will be leaving them to grow longer. But I am going to come through and harvest a bunch of these today. I have, I think, just two. Yeah, I have two of the nadapeños, and then this one, can you see all those peppers? These are so good. This one, I don't know if I can get it up here for you to see, these are a red sweet pepper. So I'm just leaving those on the plant to start to turn. Once they get a good start in turning, I am going ahead and picking them and letting them finish ripening in the house. And this is another one of those. It's called Advarsky, and like I said, so good. I've got 3 of those plants. Okay, this was the cucumbers, another couple trellises with cucumbers. They died. These trellises looked terrible, so I just knocked them over. I am going to plant some apple gourds. I don't know if I have time to get those to mature or to even produce any fruit. But Kelsey, my daughter, she started the plants from seeds from a gourd that she had purchased. And she brought me a couple plants. I thought, well, I have the plants, I have the space, I might as well put them in the ground. So I'm going to do that today. These are my Ozark Giant marigolds. I was really excited when I bought these last year because thinking giant marigolds, I thought they were going to be giant marigolds. No, the plant is giant and the marigolds are good size, but not really what I thought. So these are, this is a plant I started from seed and I had saved the seeds from last year. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera so you can see this hot mess. Oh, goodness. Okay, so along the trellis on both sides are my tomatoes. It is an absolute jungle. I already know I planted them too close together. I planted too many on one trellis. I know that. There are some that here in the middle, you can see just in this area, I don't know if the plant is dying, or if it has a disease, or I don't know. Probably not enough airflow. I have some beautiful zinnias in here. We've got some okra. And let's see if we have any baby okras. Oh, there's an okra bloom. So we will have baby okras very soon. Now, I had my corn in here amongst the zinnias. I also had sunflowers in here. You can see there's one here that is just dried up. And the okra. Okay, so the first corn that we planted was delicious. Trying to turn the camera. There we go. It was a delicious white sweet corn. And me not knowing a lot about corn, I planted like, I think 3 different varieties of sweet corn, plus an ornamental corn. I knew corn had to be planted close together. I didn't know you shouldn't mix varieties. So I have learned a lesson. But the sweet corn, the white sweet corn, has been amazing. I've got all of it picked. I still have a little bit left in the refrigerator. I wasn't trying to grow enough to preserve, but definitely enough that I can share with friends and family, and we can eat fresh. There was a yellow variety. It was okay, but most of the yellow variety has gone to the chickens because it's just not that great. And I thought my ornamental corn just didn't even come up. And guys, today, well, the day I discovered this, it would be okay if you called me a true blonde. This corn on this very last row is like 10 feet tall and producing these tiny little spindly ears that just weren't even developing. And so the other day, my daughter was here. I'll pull this one off and show you. And I was showing her, I was like, oh, I'm so disgusted. This last row of corn just did not do anything. And I pulled this back to show her that it has not done anything. And look at this. It's the ornamental corn that I planted. And it is beautiful. Look at these colors. It's just gorgeous. So I have Googled this morning because I wanted to be able to tell you while we're out here on the garden tour what I'm going to do with it. Now that I discovered this is the ornamental corn, now what do I do with it? How long do I let it stay on the stalks? And so Google said to let it dry on the plant. And most of this has started drying. Now, granted, like I said, we've had some rain recently, and so the plants feel a little bit damp. And this one is just now putting on a couple ears. This plant right here, this stalk is very green, very fresh. So the plan is I'm going to leave it on here a while longer. At the other end, there is some probably raccoons getting into it. That's okay. This was something, I had the seeds. I think they were given to me a year or so ago. And I thought, why not plant them, see what we get. Well, now I know what we got. And I'll be able to use the stalks for fall decoration. And so yeah, now I know about a little bit more about ornamental corn and not to mix my varieties. Next year, my husband suggested we try to grow popcorn. And so we may, I want to find more of that white variety of corn, sweet corn, because that was so good. And then maybe do some popcorn, but separate locations, and we'll see how they go. All right, I wanted to bring you down here to this end of the tomatoes. Now, like I said, I am a school teacher, and I have been back at work this week, not teaching kids, but going through some professional development. And okay, we had some professional development and some, different trainings, getting the classroom ready. And so I have not picked tomatoes in a week. And you can see right here, I have got ripe tomatoes. Over here, I've got a tomato that a critter has gotten to. I don't know what kind of critter, but that's okay. I can share a couple tomatoes. I've got loads and loads of the Berry's Crazy Cherry tomatoes. They are prolific. I mean, goodness sakes, look at that little cluster. So I will be picking peppers and tomatoes today. That is my plan. And hopefully today I will get that flower bed cleaned out and plant carrots and beets. I need to pick up some trellises, do some cleanup and maintenance. I was going to give you an update on our fruit trees. So the Japanese beetles came through and absolutely, we really thought the tree had died. Those are my berries, blackberries and raspberries. I'm hoping to expand that patch next year. This tree, it's a Honeycrisp apple tree. We had to put a fence around our apple trees because of the deer coming and eating the very tips of the branches. And then the Japanese beetles came and took care of the rest. But I am happy to say this little tree, I know the sun is behind, I'm sorry, the tree is coming out of it. Now, about probably a month ago, my daughter Kelsey found a tree nursery that was going out of business, and they were selling all of their fruit trees for $10 a piece. And so I bought 10 more trees plus a dogwood, and they have not been planted yet. I don't even know if they're alive. I know a few have some leaves, but I'm just trying to water them in there. They're in like a plastic sack, keeping them watered, and hopefully when we get past these days of 100-degree heat indices, I can get them out here in the orchard and planted and pray that they overwinter well. And I don't know, we'll see. But at $10 a piece, I really didn't feel like I could pass them up. And my goodness, those fruit trees, those apple trees last year were, I think $30 a piece. And I know I've seen them for a lot higher other places. So I'm okay if something doesn't make it, although I will be disappointed in that. And because I bought 2 of each on purpose so they would have, that opportunity to pollinate. Fix my camera here. But one thing I've noticed this year, we have not had the number of bees that we have had in the past. I don't know why that is. We've had some, obviously, because things are getting pollinated. But there were times last year and even the year before, I would come out here, and if you just stood still, you could just hear the garden buzzing. And we haven't had that this year. I've had a few things, cucumbers and melons and squash that did not get pollinated, and just, they start to form, they don't pollinate, and they fall off. Still experiencing that a little bit with the, especially with the loofahs and the pumpkins. Hopefully next year, I don't know. Do I need to get bees on my property? Would that help? I'm in an area where there are farms all the way around us. And granted, those are like across the road here, across the driveway is a hayfield. several hay fields around, but there's also crops like corn and soybeans and things like that. So hi, sassy girl. So I don't know if you guys have any ideas of what I can do. I plant lots of flowers in the garden. I just don't know. I'm disappointed that we haven't had the number of bees this year. That's I love having the bees in the garden. They're beneficial, and I love seeing them. So hopefully next year the bees will be back. All right, I am going to wrap up my video right here. Like I said, July garden tour was a bust, and August is what it is. It's hot, it's messy, it's producing. However, Sassy's right here between my legs. Do you want to say hi to the camera? Say hello, Sassy. Hello, Sassy. Sassy does not like to be held. I forgot what I was saying. The things that are alive are producing, and the rest of it is just a weedy mess, and that's okay. We'll get through it. I'm excited for my broccoli and cauliflower, kale and Brussels. Hopefully they produce well, and yay, we've got baby patty pans, baby pumpkins. I'm excited. So I'm happy with the way it is. I would like to move into more raised beds in the future, and maybe do away with the in-ground garden. I feel like I do much better taking care of the raised beds than the in-ground garden. So I do have some ideas and thoughts for next year, which I'd like to do another video later, maybe the September video. I can kind of do a little bit more of reflecting and planning with you. I don't know, we'll see. All right, so you guys have a blessed day. Thank you for hanging out with me in the garden, and happy gardening. Bye, friends.